And I sat at a table of 4 with Emma Thompson. There was, at the table next to us, there were sitting 4 grey-haired men with long hair and beards. And she said to me, who are these 4 Beethovens at the table?
Neste episódio, vamos conversar com Mariette Rissenbeek, a diretora executiva do Festival de Cinema de Berlim, também conhecido como Berlinale, um dos 3 festivais de maior prestígio do mundo. Ela é a primeira mulher a ocupar este cargo em mais de 70 anos do festival.
Ich wünsche mir ganz persönlich eine Berlinale im Geiste der Solidarität mit den Migrantinnen, die unsere Gesellschaft stützen und bereichern, mit allen Menschen, die unseren Schutz jetzt ganz besonders brauchen, mit den vielen Menschen, die seit Wochen für die Demokratie auf die Straße gehen.
We are so happy that you're the first woman, as far as we know, of course, and we know, you're the first woman who has been directing one of the biggest and most important.
I think that's true. Yeah.
And that may make us women so proud.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I wanted to thank you that you took the time to be with us. I wanted to ask you about the film festivals. So in 2024, so many things have been changing all over the world on film, on technique, and everybody today has a different connection to film and audiovisual production. So what would you say is the role and importance of film festivals and of cinema in the world today?
It's a big question actually, because you can of course ask yourself, should a film festival present films which you can only see at the festival? Or does a film festival want to enhance the experience in the local theatres and wants to be something in support of the local theatres? I think the Berlinale is both. A part of our festival program is dedicated to very special films which you can discover here and only see at the festival, but we also have a number of films which will be released in the theatres afterwards and which have like a longer life in that sense. And we talked before about Cannes and Venice, and I think these festivals are in a totally different way of working, because both Cannes and Venice show films which are mostly intended for theatrical releases. And this exclusive privilege of the Berlinale to also show films, because we want to show them here to the audience in Berlin without the films having a theatrical release in Germany, I think that's a super tool which the festival has.
I wonder if you could tell us a little bit, like 3 of maybe the most memorable moments you had. Things that surprised you in a beautiful way in these 5 years at the Berlinale.
2 years ago, I had a chance to have, we had dinner, we have like a dinner for the film team. It was the second Corona edition, so we had very strict rules and we had to have distance to other people. And I sat at a table of 4 with Emma Thompson. And she was such a wonderful person. I mean, I've never seen an actress or an actor who was so communicative, so open, so lively, and it was very funny. And then we had a conversation, and then there was at the table next to us, because all the tables had to be separate because of Corona, there were sitting 4 grey-haired men with long hair and beards, and she said to me, who are these 4 Beethovens at the table? And these were the documentary makers of a film from Switzerland, so I told her, and then she says, oh. And then she went to the next table, started talking to these guys in French even, she speaks French, and a year later I heard they're working on a project together. So I think that's what the core of a festival is, that you can enable people to introduce them to other people, and then something new comes out of it. But getting to know Emma Thompson was really, really a present to me. Okay. Last year, I knew there was someone coming whom I've admired for many years, Joan Baez. Mm-hmm. She was on the red carpet. She had this documentary, I'm a Noise. We met on the red carpet and I greeted her, and somehow I felt something like saying, well, you have been singing so long about freedom, about peace, about democracy, and somehow the world still hasn't changed that much. And then we started talking, and we had a very intense communication, but it sort of was very important to me that there was a real conversation. You know, we have a lot of guests, and usually the meetings is more small talk. It's not really a conversation. But with Joan Baez, I had a real conversation on the on the red carpet. So that's a very dear memory to me. This year it was a very special moment for me. The Berlinale had the chance to produce 11 short films on football, because the European Championships are in Germany and there was an extra budget for football and culture. So we had asked the students of the film school in Munich to produce 11 films about 11 different football clubs in Germany, and all the clubs are very diverse, and it's all about young clubs. So the persons are in between 13 and 19 years old. We presented the films yesterday, and 130 kids were there. Each of them saw for the first time in their life themselves on the big screen. They were very enthusiastic. Today they're doing a workshop on film, how to make a film with your mobile camera. And this was it was also really a treasure that you can show young kids what a festival is like, how it is to experience a film in the cinema. And at the same time, for us, it was so important to say cinema is culture, but football is also a very team and inclusive and diverse format. And film and football are a little bit the same. You have to work in a team to achieve the same goal, either making the film or making a goal.
Oh, very nice. And Mariette, you pointed things that I believe that are very important for you and for the Berlinale, and I wonder if you could also talk a little bit about that, which is topics that are so important for the world today and missing maybe in many countries, like anti-discrimination, but diversity, inclusion, and sustainability, and I wonder if you could tell us a little bit, how did you put this topic somehow? You said about the project of the football Berlinale, meets Berlinale, but also in other aspects. How do you show through films and through a festival like the Berlinale how important these topics are for the world today?
Well, first of all, a lot of the films really are very diverse. Of course, they are from very different countries. Usually they have topics which touches every one of us, because they're very social and very political sometimes. We had some films on, of course, the conflict, the war in Gaza, and therefore it's very, very natural to show these films because they talk about diversity and inclusion. But then we have also different measures within the team to make sure that also the team gets more diverse and more inclusive. But this is a process. It doesn't go, it doesn't work from one day to the other. Then we had some events in the market. I was part of a panel at AFO Berlin, which is aiming at giving more filmmakers from Africa the opportunity to network with people from the film business outside of Africa. It's all small steps, but it's all different steps, and I think we're proud that we're part of this process.
So I'll try to put two questions in one. One is about being a woman.
Yes.
I'm sure I belong to a huge group of women who are amazingly proud that you have been the director of the first woman who has been the director of one of the biggest and most important festivals of the world. And so first, I don't know if you can talk about adversity. How has it been to you? Because always when you're the first one, you have to open new ways. How difficult has it been for you as a woman facing this challenge of being the first? And also, what would you say for women all over the world who will listen to you, that dream and are inspired by you as somebody who makes a big change in the lives of millions of people with your work and what you do?
I don't like to think in cliches or prejudices, but I do think women very often work in a different way than men. Women are much more, I think, wanting to work in a network. I think men are much more thinking about their own position. So it's not so easy as a woman in a top position to get both sides very well connected. And it was sometimes a challenge, because you talk to a lot of people, you have to convince people to follow the strategy of the festival, And that's a lot of talking, and I thought it was interesting for me to learn this, because in my previous job I didn't have to talk to politicians and convince them of the plans I had for a festival. And I think we women should learn to accept that maybe we work in a different way, and we should make ourselves stronger and not being shy of or modest about being different from men. I think we don't have to be like men. We can have our own style. But that's something which you really have to tell the world over and over again, because so far the world is still expecting people to behave like men, because they have been doing this for hundreds of years.
Okay, and as our time is over.
Yeah, one last question.
Yes, so so I'll finish with Brazil. You've been also to Brazil and 2 times. I wonder if you could also tell us. And so many films from Brazil have been in the Berlinale in the last 5 years. I wondered if you could talk a little bit, maybe a memory you have about Brazil, and about Brazilian cinema, something that stayed also as a special memory in your heart, of things you've seen.
Brazilian cinema started, I think, for me, probably with something like Central do Brasil.
Oh,
yes.
very good spoken.
That was like Openbarung. Jetzt kann ich das. I don't know the word in English right now, but it was a revelation in a way, because I didn't know that much about Brazilian cinema before, and I thought that was a great way of getting in touch with it. And then at the Berlinale, of course, we had several films from Brazil. A Tropa de Elite, which you also connect with Brazil, of course, like some police power and violence. But I think that's the way things are. And I really love the country because, in a way, people are relaxed, and at the same time they are very busy and active and communicative. It's a very special atmosphere, which I enjoy very much.